Here's an ELNA SUPERMATIC with a flat side and a rubber pulley. Kind of go real fast, it kind of evens out. That's the rubber pulley, has a big flat on the side. Now if you turn this by hand, you can feel it cogs there, it's cogs here, cogs here. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about 5, maybe a little bit more than 5 per revolution. The older model, newer model, it has a snap ring you have to pull apart. The older model, this is a 52. You go through and undo this, back this out. I've already had this off. And then you can unscrew this all the way. Now these parts under here may not be in the right order. This is the way I got this machine. So got a washer, a wavy washer, and a cog piece. Here's the wheel. And if I just have this on here without the preload, this spring puts preload on here. So if I turn this on, you can see it lifts the wheel up. Here's the rubber pulley, there's the flat on it. Now before I got this, turning this thing by hand was kind of hard. So I went through and oiled it up, all the red spots here. There's a bunch of places inside. Anyways, now I can turn this by hand, and there's the dreaded flat on it. Now what I've been trying to do is get the pulley off. There's a special puller which I don't have, so what I did is I put on either side of this roll pin, I put some coil here just because it was really tight. I took a pair of pliers and I pinched this back and forth to get the roll pin to slide back and forth. I got a big pair of pliers in here and pinched one side of the pin and not the other. And then I've got this started, and then I took a screwdriver here. The roll pin I just measures about 75 thousandths of an inch. I took a screwdriver, cheapie, and I ground it down so I can put this in here, and I've been tapping this to get the roll pin out. Now there's a special tool I think you can rent at some place. It's probably better to do it. It probably presses that better. Okay, here's how I started to move the pin. The red piece in there is simulating the pin. The pin is a little bit larger than the OD of this. I took a pair of pliers and put it on one side of this and pushed and got that to stick out a little bit. Then I went over here and turned it around and used the drift and tapped on it over and over again to push that out. This is a 2mm diameter, just homemade drift out of an old crummy pair of jeweler's screwdrivers that are screwed up. This might have been there since 1952. Have this pin even farther up. I'm going to see if I can grab it out of there with a pair of pliers. Ooh, it's a lot farther now. Make sure I don't lose the pin. Now I've tapped it some more, and Just about ready to come out of there. This is a drift. This is a homemade drift that I've ground down. There's the pin just about all the way out. Okay, this is going to be about the final thing. I got my finger on the other end and I can feel it moving, so I'm going to lightly tap and I might drop the pin down in the machine. There's the roll pin right here that I took out. Let's go ahead and mic it. It's about 80, 79, 80. It's probably a 2mm roll pin. I've probably boogered up the end of this just a little bit, but that's probably a roll pin. I'm sure this got to be metric, but 80 thou nominally, probably 2mm hole, so it's a little bit larger. And here's the pulley I've taken out. You can see the flat on here. It's got a really big flat on here. It's kind of amazing. What's weird is if this was turning, it wouldn't make a flat. In order to have a flat, it's either got to sit here a long time, or you'd have to turn this wheel with some other device. But this is just, looks like it's abraded, and if you look down inside the machine, there's all sorts of, it's hard to see, there's crap inside there. Here's what the replacement pulley number is. It's a 722077, 25 bucks. I don't sell them, I just got one off the internet. But it's ELNA 722077. And here's the new pulley. And what's weird is that this is not by ELNA. I don't know if this is just an aftermarket, whatever. Go ahead and put it on there. Now we're going to have some fun trying to put the old pin back on there. Now what's wrong with the way I took this out without a tool, I probably boogered up one end of this. So sometimes what you can do is grind one of these slightly down so it'll go in there. Grab my fingers down. It feels like it wants to go on that side a little bit easier. This may sound horrible. What I did is I just tapped this in with this giant Harbor Freight screwdriver, pair of pliers, and I just pressed that sucker in. And there it is. Kind of bizarre. Again, there's the old one with the flat. And you should turn the power off. Evidently, I didn't even turn the power off. Okay, I'm going to assemble this a little bit different than what I got this machine. I got to get a manual actually. I'm going to put the wavy washer down first, then the flat washer to back it up, then this limiter which limits where the stop is on this. So if I randomly tighten this down, this seems to work a little bit right. If somebody has a different way, I probably need to get a manual. If you tighten this down, this determines where the lock is. So if I undo this, this is a single thread, so it's always going to start at one place. This will determine where it's loosened to how much you can tighten it up, because this has a different places it can lock on the little cog piece. So if I put it on here, tighten it down, tighten this, this has very little range of motion. So what I'm going to do is I want to move the cog piece this way. Let's go for it and go 2 cogs. That's got a huge motion, so that's really good. This is from cyan ink, this is not off the machine. Anyways, this gives a full tightening and also allows to reduce the tension the most. Now if I go through here and turn this on, it's not turning. I can tighten this down, power the whole machine. If I go around here with my hand, there's no cogs. I'll zoom back out, show the whole machine mostly. Now I'm going to turn it up on its side, actually the correct side, back off a little bit here. Turn the cam so the cam's not in use. I believe this is forward. 0, that means there's no motion of the plate. Let's put it on 2. I'm going to run this through here. Because I've oiled it, you'll probably see some oil on here. I think I bent the needle a minute ago. I did something goofy. See the oil on here? Still a little bit of oil. If you want to know what all that clanking noise was, goofing around before I turned the video on the last one, I actually busted the needle. So that's to where the eye is. So if I run this through here, to actually punching through the paper here with a blunt needle. So that was what all that racket was about. I go back here, do the Man from Uncle Pan. This noise you heard last video there, that's with a needle with no head on it. That's with the cam disengaged. Still see a little bit of oil coming off on the needle. Okay, on a later Supermatic, this is a 63, an early 63. There's an E-ring here that you have to spread apart. This one, the E-ring's already been taken off. If I undo the wheel here, it just has a wheel. Then it has a nut that has one flat on it. The wheel comes right off. And there's the pulley. And the hub here looks a little bit different, a little bit more simpler. There's the pulley. This is the bobbin winder. So this is a early 1963 Supermatic, and the pulley on this one is a little bit kind of, it's worn a little bit, but it's still serviceable. There's no flat on it, so I've never replaced that. Again, here's how the pulley goes back on. There's a flat here. And this tightens up. Now you can see this on here when you push this up and down. What that's doing is it's actually, the motor in here is spring loaded. So I think on the older model there's a higher, the load is on, you're not able to loosen it up as much as on the newer model. Maybe they did that because it was a set problem. This one, I've just, the E-ring got broken years ago when I took it off a couple different times, and so I've just left this off. And screws on like that. So if you're not using this, you probably should back this up some. Takes the tension off the tire. This one here, if you look at the E-ring, where the E-ring would be, you have to tighten this a whole bunch of turns on here, which is good. So I think on the newer models you can back the tension off a good bit more than on the older models. The E-ring, you have to put a set of E-ring pliers in here and spread this out to get that off. This is a early 63 by the serial number ELNA. It's one of the last ones that has a digit that starts with a number, and then they went to I think an A and B and a C. Later model Supermatics use what they call a retaining ring. Looks sort of like this. You need to put a tool in there and spread the little lower features apart, and then you can pull the ring off.